Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Oztron and we are back playing Gearblocks, and for today's episode we're going to continue messing with the V10 engine that I started to experiment with in the last episode, and hopefully get this mounted to some kind of frame and start adding some suspension and stuff so that we can start making a vehicle of some type. Not really sure what kind of vehicle I want to make just yet, but it might be some type of hybrid thing or whatever. But let's go check out the engine because that's where we last left off. Oh, I forgot about that. All right, so oh yeah, I have fly mode on, so let's get out of fly mode. So right now you guys can see from the last episode I've actually tweaked this engine quite a bit. I actually have it working. It took a little bit to try to figure out just mainly the quirks of basically building in this game. It's just a new build system. It's got a lot of different ways of doing things, and kind of took some time to experiment with. But most of all, the main issue I was having with the engine before that was kind of making it run kind of weird and real lopey and lopsided was because I really had the firing order way out of place. I had the angle of the pistons, or not pistons, the connecting rods in the wrong orientation as well. So what we've done here is we have adjusted the orientations. Actually, have we? Let's see, let's double check. I've been doing so many things that, yeah, okay, that's right. All right. So basically the main issue with dealing with a V10 is that the crank angle needed to be at 72 degrees offset from each other. So that was kind of a challenge to figure out exactly where to place these things and how to arrange it. So we go to the thing here, because this is set up on a, I think it's not, let's see, this is negative 36. Yeah, it's on a 180 degree offset instead of like a 360. So it was hard to try to figure out exactly what to set this to, and so it was kind of a challenge to try to figure out, you know, the reverse angle of 180 degrees, if that makes sense, like what the negative angle would be if we were like having to rotate continuously around a 360 axis at 72 degree intervals. So I hope that makes sense, because once you get past like 180 degrees, then it starts going into the negatives instead of, like, you know, 240 and 260 and whatever, you know, the going into more positive side of degrees as a circle. So I'm not really sure why they did it like that, but it would have been easier if this was in a 360 orientation when we're adding and having to adjust the angles, I think. I mean, I don't know. That's just, it would have helped me out trying to figure this stuff out. And then the next thing was the firing order. So over here on our heads, we can hit the settings here to check out what our firing order is. And so I finally figured out the best firing order. Now, I didn't use like a standard Viper engine firing order. I actually went with a Formula One style firing order, or I guess it's I guess it's based off the Viper, but it's like their LFE version, which is like the race car formula version of that engine, I guess, if there was such a thing. I don't think there was, but it was kind of noted as far as the research I did on the internet as the best firing order with this specific degrees of each crank journal. So I hope that makes sense, but it does work and it sounds pretty good, and it seems to make about 600 horsepower, I believe, and like 600 to 800 foot-pounds of torque. So if we go out of here and let me select off of this, how do I still, all right, are we, there we go. All right, still getting used to like all the control, like F keys to disable the edit mode. But if I hit G to start this thing up, you guys can hear it starts up. Now I do have a counterbalance back here. Not sure which material I made that out of. I think it's like lead or something like that, just so that the engine has some type of resistance. But sounds pretty good, and added some exhaust to it where it actually directs out the tips, and we can rev it up. You guys can hear it. Still kind of a weird sounding engine, but you guys can see the rev limit. Now I'm not sure if there's a way to increase the rev, so if you guys know of a way to increase it past the 4,000 rev mark, because with this current setup being the way that I have it, we're supposed to be able to get, you know, closer to like 8,000 on the revs, which would be optimal for this setup, I guess. I mean, obviously we're in a different displacement than the formula version of this engine, but you know, it's working, and it would be nice if I can have some more RPMs to play with, because it seems to cap out at 4,000. Now we can actually go here, and let's select that. I'll turn it off, and let's grab a display. Where are the displays? Right here. And we'll do this one for now. Let's make one of these, kind of set this on a pole somewhere. And let's rotate this thing up so that we can kind of place it better. What are you doing way down there? All right, let's put that on a corner. And then let's get this added, not like that. But let's just go, I don't know which way is the up-down version of this, but yeah, that's fine. Right there, it's fine. Actually, I kind of want to turn it this way. So, all right. I wish there was a key to like rotate things on the like 45-degree angle, which would be nice, like a hotkey. And there might be, I don't know. If you guys know of one, then definitely let me know. So if we go here to our wiring diagram, now we can wire up to our heads. Wait, we need to go to the heads there, and I think I can go to the crank journal on the back. Now will give us our torque readout, and then we can go to the settings here. Let's do the line 1. Let's let that be our let's do maybe RPM, and then let's do line 2 to be let's do the torque. I wish that was in foot-pounds. I have to always run to the web to convert it to foot-pounds. And then we have power, which I'm not really sure. That might be kilowatts, probably. I would imagine. I don't know. And then what else other settings should we have here? Ignition cutoff. I got RPM, torque, power. And I think that's it. Thermal efficiency. Sure. Let's see what that kind of number that shows us. And then let's check that thing. And the way I have the game set up right now is where we don't need the battery or an alternator or fuel. We can turn it on later and make it a little bit more realistic and have like fuel consumption and voltage consumption. But right now, it's just default standard how the game is set. So let's go out of here. Let's start this thing up. Oh, wait. Actually, forgot. Let's go back. Turn that off, and we need to go here, and we need to, I think we need to actually add power to a battery. So let's do that, and then get out of it and start it. Oh, we need to turn it on, right? Is that what we need to do? E. That's, what? It's upside down, god dang it. Okay. All right, come on. Let's do this, and let's flick it. Oh no, what are we doing here? All right. I'm trying to rotate just the sign. Stop. Just highlight the sign, please. There we go. And then rotate, please. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. So it says it's not connected. Did we lose all the connections to it now? Dang it, we did. All right, so let's go to the head. Let's go to the torque thing. Go to the battery, why not? And I think that's it. So, and then Alt E. Wow, so when you disconnect it, you have to redo all this all over again. And do torque. Select that one. Do power. That might be, it says rear engine drive. That might be like electric power. I'm not sure if that's going to give us the right thing. And then let's do the thermal. Where the thermal's at? Thermal efficiency. Okay. All right. And then go to 1, Control F. Okay, there we are. So torque, negative, whatever that is. Power in kilowatts. So that might be how we determine horsepower. Let's see. Can't remember exactly all this stuff. Been like covering some other games here lately, so I've kind of lost what to do here. All right, let's start this thing up. Okay, so we're at 3 kilowatts, 45 newtons, I guess. And if we crank this up, we're going to cap out at 4,000 RPMs. So where did we go on? I think I saw 1,200 on the newtons. Let's try it again. No, I can't. 13 something. To let it calm down for a second. I don't know why it rolls over to the negative. I'm not really sure why it does that. So if you guys have any ideas on how to do that. And then we're at 5, almost 6, I think I saw. So, yeah. All right, so we'll just say roughly 13 on the newtons, 1300, and 600 on the kilowatts, which I think that's like 600 in kilowatts is like 4 or 500 horsepower. Let's do this. I can look that up real quick. So let's just look up watts to HP calculator, and that's kilowatts, so that would be 6,000 kilowatts, right? Okay, so that's actually 804 horsepower, and then we got 1,300 newtons. 1,500s go with that. Let's see, NM to foot-pounds. See how much torque we get. I'm having to type this in, guys, so sorry, bear with me. Alright, go to the calculator. So that's Newton meters, I guess, to pounds per feet. So let's just do 1,300. And we get, let's see, why is it not telling me? Convert. Well, why is it taking so long to convert? I'm going to a variety of cheesy websites to figure this out. Okay, finally got a number off of one of these crazy sites. So it seems like 1,300 Newton meters would be, I guess, 958 foot-pounds of torque. So 950 foot-pounds of torque, 800 horsepower. If the internet isn't lying to me, then that's where we're at for power. So pretty good. I guess, you know, I'd like to get 1,000 horsepower out of this. So it'd be nice if we could have some power adders in the future, like maybe some turbos and superchargers and all that. So, all right, so now we got that kind of figured out. Let's go ahead and stop the engine. I don't know if there's a kill switch for the engine or not, but what we need to do, and I kind of made a base for the engine. You guys can see I kind of added a little base here. Also took advantage of some new parts. So in the game, they released some new items here. So we have a few things added. So we have these right here, these little construction blocks. And normally I think we had like these 3 Y blocks right here. And I think they added these all on the top row. I think all of these are new, and these are would allow you to make like a radial engine almost if you wanted to. You put cylinders on each one of these radial pieces and make maybe a type of radial engine, I guess. I don't know. And I think they added some like wheels or something maybe. So I think one of these tires over here, I'm not really sure. Like we have different car wheels that were added. And I have to check the notes. You guys can check it out on the website, but I believe they added some wheels and a few other little things. Oh, and then they added a crank thing, which was actually pretty handy. So before we only had the rear crank, or actually I guess we had both of these, but now we can do a custom nose piece on our axle, or on our crank output shaft. So before we just had these and then these two right here. And now we can actually put in one of these items over here, and then we can add a custom output shaft. And I have one right here. So if we select that and then hit Y, we can actually shorten it. It doesn't seem like it goes super long, but we can make it a custom length, which is a nice feature to have in case we need to put a lot of pulleys and belts on it or something like that. Or maybe a lot of clutch things for the transmission and stuff. So yeah, all right, so now we need to see about putting this on some type of base for our vehicle. Now what I have over here is I downloaded some of the suspension pieces off the workshop just so that I had like some kind of idea. I just wanted to see what other people have done in the game before I spent like the whole rest of my life trying to figure out exactly how to set up the suspension, because I never actually went through the full tutorial in this video. I just kind of jumped right into building. But we have a lot of pre-made components here. So we have some of these at this point. And this is kind of a like a A-arm style suspension, like a double wishbone, you know, setup. But it's not a unequal length. These are equal. But over here, I think we have an unequal, yeah. So this is actually a better, well, typically better, because as the tire, you know, goes up and down, and as the car sways until pivots from side to side, this will help keep the tire surface on the ground, you know, better, if that makes sense. Whereas if you have everything the exact same length, then as the car pivots and turns, then the tires will also turn sideways. Hey, I put that, what the, I put some car, what? I loaded in some test cars over here, and I guess they just rolled down for some reason. But anyway, so yeah, so if you don't have a suspension setup where you have an unequal A-arm setup, or, you know, upper and lower control arms, then what will happen is, like, these tires will roll onto their sides, and they'll lose grip from their contact patch on the material on the surface, you know. So if you can have the unequalness, then as it turns, it will actually, the upper A-arm, as the suspension goes up and down, will actually pull the top of the tire inwards or outwards, basically, and mainly just like, I guess, yeah, outwards, inwards, whatever, and it will help keep the contact patch connected to the ground. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm not explaining that very well, but I know that sounds weird, but believe it or not, I am a somewhat of a car designer, somewhat professionally. I know it may not sound like it, but I've had my toes in the industry quite deeply before, so I won't go into too much detail, but if you guys looked hard enough on me, you'll find something interesting. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so I loaded these in so that I can kind of get an idea. I wanted to mainly check out the steering, and I like the idea of the suspension being like this horizontal style setup right there, rather than side to side. So I kind of like this. I may want to try to do like a cantilever style suspension, you know. And so I think maybe a cross between something like this, because these are parts that are already pre-made into the game pretty easily, and so are these. So we might make a kind of a combination of those two. Then also, I don't know what happened over here. Let's get up here and fly in fly mode. So this car I loaded in. This is like one of the game, I guess. Oh, see, it's actually rolling. Weird. So this is like one of the demo cars, I think, that kind of come with the game. So it has an interesting setup too. Now this is like a 4-link setup in the back. And let's get out of the fly mode. So we have a lower control arm back here, and then we have these tall shocks. So this would allow a lot of articulation happening on the rear suspension. And this is a solid axle, so this would be like a Ford, old classic Ford 9-inch rear end, something you'd find on like a Mustang or old Camaro. You know, a Camaro would have like an 11-bolt rear end, and a Ford have a 9-inch nodular iron rear end setup. And this would be your solid axle, you know, somewhat, not really solid, but it's just a, you know, basically a solid live axle setup there. And so this doesn't have any articulation, not independently at least. So as this tire goes up, it'll actually make this tire react too. But we have this articulating thing back here, which is kind of an interesting way of doing it. So we have the center connected to the differential housing, and then we have this pivot point right there with some type of almost like torsional bar looking thing, but I think that's just to hold it and allow it to turn. So that's pretty interesting. Let's get into this and let's see if we can drive this. So we don't even have to, whoa, okay, steer's kind of wonky, but let's see what the suspension does here so we can get an idea. All right, as we go over these bumps. So let's drive. Oh my gosh, did we bottom out? What does 5 allow us to move? Yeah, there we go, move. All right, get in there. So can we not climb up? Oh my god, we're stuck? What the? All right, let's get out and then let's scoot you over. maybe we'll be better going backwards in this thing. Oh, it doesn't go backwards. Does it go backwards? Let's see. We got S for brakes. Q. Press on it. Yeah. All right. Well, it apparently does not like to. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Well, let's just pick this up and then let's set it down like it would articulate. Holy cow, this is crazy. All right, there we go. And then let's pull it. Okay, this should give us an idea maybe. Oh, it's not really doing it. It's bottoming out on the ground, so let's push it down. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's still not really working. Huh. Okay. Well, but you guys can see when I drop it down, see how that tire is doing its thing. And this would be kind of like a Jeep setup. So you can see this tire, you know, if those rods weren't there, if I took this out, like, can I just, I guess all this is locked probably. Is it locked? Not be unfrozen? Can I unlock? Just wanted to lock that. I guess we can't. Well, let's get out of there. Yeah, I was going to disconnect that, but anyway, all right, enough messing around with that. Let's go fly over to the other car that we have over here. Yeah, that's weird. This thing is still going? Whoa. All right, so we have a different setup here. And this, I think this is another demo car. Now this one has some normal style, like A-arm style suspension setup here. And it is offset also, so we have unequal length, I believe. I think, yeah, so that's the pivot point there, pivot point here, and then the front, is this the front? Yeah, that's the front. Okay, so the front is modeled the same as the back, pretty much. So this is kind of the style that I'm going for. So you guys can see how the angle, these arms are angled down a little bit, but yet the tires are flat. Can we get in this and drive it? Yeah, we can. All right, well, maybe this thing will handle a little better over the terrains. But yeah, you kind of see how like it's swaying a little like this. And let's see, oh, you can see how the suspension squats and does all that stuff. So let's see how this behaves. It's much better than the other one. We still get stuck though. So maybe I need to go over, maybe this is too rough of a terrain. How about these little city bumps over here? This should show us a good representation. Yeah, so you guys can see how the suspension's going up and down, and it's keeping the tire flat on the ground. And so that's due to that unequal part. Whereas I think if we get out of this, let's do fly over here, fly, and let's Control F that out of here and get in the driver's seat. I guess that's driver's seat. God dang, we have to do 5, drag this out of the way. Whoa there, buddy. Okay, so this is both left-hand and right-hand drive. Okay, so we can test this on the same little city bumps and we can see how the rear end reacts. Now the front, yeah, its front's unequal too. But yeah, you can see how both sides of the back end move. That's not really what we want for a race car setup necessarily, unless you're NASCAR or something and you're just on a smooth track all the time. It's actually a fairly superior setup on just a perfectly flat track like NASCAR. Okay, so there we go. There's our examples of what we need to do. And let's get out of there. And hopefully those things are just gonna roll, I guess. And I like these setups, so we're gonna go with that. And let's go ahead and get rid of some of these items here. And I forget how to get rid of it. There we go. What the? How is it doing that? Okay. There we go. Get rid of that. And then we'll get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so I think the best thing to do is maybe actually put our engine down onto this flat piece for right now. Let's go ahead and get the toilet out of here. And we're going to take this weight off and probably this thing as well. That we don't need the gas tank. And oh, there we go. And we don't need the alternator at this point. Okay, did I get rid of the alternator? There we go. And all right, so we're going to take that off also. Get rid of these, get rid of that, get rid of this thing. Okay. So now we need to take that pin out. Probably have to use that pin onto this thing there. And let's take this right here is kind of part of our structure. So we'll make that and we'll just shorten this up all the way to there, like that. And then do the same thing over here, all the way up like that. And so I'm kind of pretending this is like an oil pan. We don't actually have oil pans or any kind of like engine block type thing that we can add to this. So we're kind of having to make the blocks on our own. So that is not where I want that. Yo, what are you hopping around for like that? Okay, what is this? Is this just a flat thing? All right, and let's rotate this around. Okay. Oh, I have another pin down here too. Let's put that over there, and then I'm going to try to squeeze this. I don't know why I can't get that to squeeze. Now, can I select, or can we actually select the whole engine and make it into one assembly? I think I can control A, or no, control A, there we go. And then can I lock this as like, it would be nice to be able to lock this as like an assembly. So lock selected attachments. Is that working? I don't know. Oh, they do have locks on it. Yeah, look at that. We have locks on everything. Okay, so this is good because it'll keep me from accidentally like taking the engine apart. So, all right. So now if I select it, yeah. Okay. So, can we select it though? So yeah. All right. So I can't move it, but I can select the whole thing, and then we can set it down. Hopefully, can I not set it down on? Does that piece not have any connector blocks on it? Ah, dog crap. Okay. So let's do this. I think we can do this instead. Select this. Oh wait, it's sticking to it. There we go. Man, why was that so hard? Okay. All right, so now we have this platform connected to this engine, and we can build off of this thing. And then let's take a pin. Can we take a pin and stick it into this? I thought we could. Sometimes I wonder, like, why we can't. Why it doesn't stick into things. It should just pin into that, right? It's not. But I can pin it in over here, I guess. Let's turn it sideways and stick it into this hole right not there. Okay. T that way. Yeah, we need a way to reset the world orientation on this stuff sometimes. Just want to plop it into that hole. There we go. That should pin everything. So if I come out of here and hit Control F, yeah, okay. So now it's locked into place. So that's good. And we can start the engine. There we go. And then, whoa. Sounds different now. Oh, it's because we don't have the weight of the torsion bar on the back for that, you know, to, if you don't have any resistance on the engine, then it revs real ridiculous. So that is why. All right, forgot about that. Okay, so now we have this, and let's see, we need to make, all right, is that in the middle? That is not in the middle, man. Okay, how do we get that in the middle? You're not going in the middle, are you? Let's see. Really got to figure out exactly out to this. Maybe we can adjust the size of this. Maybe that'd be easier to do that. All right, so that's, is there a middle? I guess it's going to be offset by 1. So maybe we can shrink it. Oh, I just want to shrink one side. Right? I can't tell. Is that the middle or not? Oh, the engine. What the heck? The engine, it clipped through my engine. Okay. Let's see. Trying to... Oh my god. What are we doing here? What are we doing and why is it doing that? Maybe that's not the best way to handle that. But I thought we could just stick it down and let's Control Z a few times. Put that back to where it was. Okay, there we go. So we want to... Can we make it wider? That looks like it's in the right spot. Okay, good. All right, we're gonna leave that like that, and go to our build. Let's grab some materials over here. We just need some bars for right now to line on the side like that. I think that's probably the best way to do that, right? Lie over here. So these just have like a frame. Everything's just sitting on the frame. But this guy's got it to where it's sitting. How's that working exactly? Oh, he's got it like that. All right, that's different. That gives a little bit of ground clearance on the bottom at a bit of an angle, but not really. Like you have that chunk. I think I'm just going to stick with it being flat. And then we'll build on top, because it's essentially the same thing they're doing here, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, so we have this is the... are we going to do this rear engine or like mid-engine? Or like front mid-engine? I don't know. I think we're going to do it... Yeah, let's just copy this piece. I'm not sure how long can we make these pieces? We have these. Oops. And can I lock this in place? Let's see, lock selected attachment. Is that locked? I just want to lock that to it. Oh, dang it. Okay. Can we not lock that? Oh, son of a biscuit. Oh, it fell out of my pinhole thing. Okay. And then select that. And then let's lock these. Okay. Is that is locked? Okay, good. Now, is this one locked too? Can't really tell. Might be locked. Okay, can we unlock it? How do we unlock? It's control what? Shift E. There we go. And then this one can shift E. All right, so now, yeah, there we go. So now we can unlock that. Good Lord. All right. And let's hit the Y. Can we make these? Oh, we can make these super long. How long can we make that? 25? Okay, that's a good start. There we go. All right, cool. So we'll make that 25. Let's copy this one. Put it over here like that. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we also need to shorten this thing up. I don't know if we can shorten it when it's locked, though. I don't think we can. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll leave it long. And what should we start with on our front end setup here? Okay, how wide do we want this to be? I want it to be kind of wide. So maybe have this. Let's do this. You guys are kind of watching me try to figure all this craziness out. So here are our blocks. Now, don't we have like some other? Are they in the suspension area? Looking for just some angled blocks. We got these. Oh, here we go. I think that's it right there. Yeah. All right. So that one, and then I believe we can alter the angle of that. Let's rotate it. Rotate it this way, I guess. And we're going to connect that on the inside like that. Is that how I want to do that? Actually, I think I want to rotate it like this instead. Okay, and then go back to resizing it. We can resize it in like that. Okay, this is going to be like where our front tires are going to be, maybe. Okay, I might have to move the engine forwards or backwards, but we'll deal with that after we get this first part of the front suspension together. And let's see, let's copy this. We need like an instant like flip. Is there a flip? Invert, Control I, left Control I. Did that invert it? Oh, I'm trying to select that, man. Left. What was it? Left Control I. Okay. That doesn't seem like that's inverting much of anything. All right, and let's rotate this around like that. Snap that in right there. And then we'll copy one of these jobs right there. Put that right in there. And then let's shorten this up by a lot. There we go. We'll copy this over like that. There we go. Okay, so I think we have kind of the front part of a chassis. Now, let's just plop that in right there. Oh, come on. Okay. Want to get this and rotate that. Okay, and get over here, plop it down right there. Okay, hopefully, yeah, I can see this thing pulled away. So let's see if we can stick that back in that hole. Hopefully that'll hold all this stuff together in place. All right, so now we need some control arms for the lower side. I like how this guy's doing the lower control arms right here. This is a nice setup right there. So I might copy that. Although this is an easier setup, but it's kind of long. So I might go with something like this because we can control the length of this also. This gives us a little bit more. Yeah, this, we only have a selected few things. So if we look in our suspension stuff, we only have these and they're not adjustable as far as I know. So it would be nice, I think, to go with a setup like this because we can adjust this rod right there. So, okay, so that gives me an idea. All right, we're gonna copy that. I think could just cut the car and cut that in half and drag it over here, but kind of want to make this on my own to see, you know, best way to do this. All right, so now we need the little ball and socket. So let's find that. It's got to be here, right? No, wait, I think there's a thing over here. Here we go. So we're looking for a ball and socket thing. Okay, here is the ball. Where is the socket part? Ah, here's the socket part. So okay, let's copy one of those in, and let's just see Let's do it like this first, upside down. Does that not go on like that? Okay, what is this over here? He's got this thing. Let's control A that. Let's drag it up in the air and look underneath here. Okay. Oh, that's a different kind of thing. All right, that's the wrong thing. Okay, so you go over there and let's get rid of you. We're looking for, there it is. It's a version of this. This is a socketed version. We need the opposite, I think. Right? I don't think that's it. I mean, that looks like what we need. Oh, this is it right here. There we go. There we go. And then this one, we can shorten this up. There we go. That's it. Right there. Okay. So now, can we control A and then lift this whole thing up like that? Grab this guy. Move this over. And copy that like that. And we should be able to plop that right inside there. Nice. Okay, so that is one socket piece. Now, kind of looking at this as our main example, because I think this is the style I like the most because of the adjustability we have with making everything longer or shorter. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So he has another socket piece back here. All right. About how far apart are these? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so about 5 apart. I think we're going to have to make this longer. So we'll just make that longer. Take this piece, copy it over, and go 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right, and then we can bring this back in a little bit, keep it out a little. There we go. Now, also another thing, if you guys know, I have no idea. I've been trying to figure it out. It would be nice to be able to copy and select all of this and then copy it as a whole thing, and then, but it won't let me do it. If I try to copy it, it just makes the copy of whatever I'm on. So I don't know, you know, exactly what to do there. So let's escape there. So I thought we could copy more things at once. Let's make this the same length. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna put this thing over like right there. And we have to rotate it now. All right, so now I have all the little ball and socket pieces, or at least the sockets part. Now I'm starting to put the ball piece in, but I think I missed it here. So we need to like snap that in right there. And then I need to make this one snap to there. Okay, let me, give me a minute. Let me duplicate this and start adding on some of the components over here. Just gonna like copy the items from over here, just so we have a base to go with, and put them over this area. right, guys. So, man, after about 3 hours worth of crazy work here trying to figure out all the suspension stuff, I had to kind of start over, and I was like copying some parts from this over here, and then I realized like none of this actually pivots or turns. So I was like, oh, this is all set up for the rear. And I don't know exactly why I didn't realize that at the very beginning. But I caught it like, you know, by the time I got one side somewhat done, and I just moved it to the back. So we have it in the back now. And so that's back there kind of ready to go. I don't really have it supported or anything yet, but I really wanted to get the front end nailed down. So I ended up kind of doing a kind of custom little setup. It's a little bit of everything over here that I've been like using these vehicles to learn from on how they do their suspension. Same thing with over here. And this one's pretty nice. I like the setup. And then even a little bit like this one, but I ended up kind of going with the default pieces made for the suspension just because it saved a little bit of space and it gave me a few more options. Now there's a couple of things I'm having issues with. One is with the shocks. I really want to put the shock mount right there, but I need it to go over here. Like I need the bottom to be mounted over here at a diagonal, but I don't know how to do that. This setup right here I think has it at a diagonal, but right now when you look at it in the build mode, it's just straight up and down, and it's not even connected, but you see like there's an arrow that points and says, hey, it's like it's got like a little arrow that says it's connected to over there. So when I take this out of the build mode, oh good lord, I might have disconnected a few things, but if you look at it, you can see that now that shock is at a diagonal right there. So there's something that tells it to connect, but I'm not sure what that is. And I tried looking over here, like let's go back, put that back up there, and let's look at this. I don't see anything besides, you know, the normal stuff. Now if I go to 3, I don't see that I have any options here to connect it. You know, like see here I have all these little things to connect the cranks together and to connect power and all that using this little build tool, but I don't see that we have that option with the shock. Maybe we need a different kind of shock or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to experiment with that because I need it to go over there, and because right there it's just easy to compress. And I don't know, I think we have some settings that we can add to it. So we can do spring rate. I'm just gonna jam it all up right now. And same thing with this one, just turn it all up, because what happens if I like unfreeze this, you can see it kind of like flops down. And that's just mainly because there's nothing holding up. I don't have a sway bar. I got to put in like a torsional sway bar also. That'll help hold the suspension up a little bit. And then also, of course, being on the ground, that will do it too. So, all right, what's going on here? There we go. And so I could like basically stick it. Let's go here. Oh, that's fine. All right. And then like, let's just put it on the ground a little bit right there. And let's get it kind of close. It might be in the ground. I don't know. Can I? No, it's clipping into something. So can we do it now? No, it's still clipping. There we go. Okay, so there it is right there. All right, so it's on the ground. Everything's, you know, fine and dandy. Now my other issue is the steering. So I have the steering set up right there. You can kind of see it, but if I go and I sit in my little toilet seat, we have no steering, and it's there, it's moving, but it's not really functioning. Let's see if it's turned on. I may have it turned off right now. No, it's on. And yeah, if I hit like I think I reassigned it to the N and M key. You see, it's like, it's not moving. And I have it set to like 2,000 foot-pounds of torque or something too. So yeah, look at that. We are like cranked up on the torque, and max angle. I mean, I don't know. Let's see, reverse angle. Let's just do it at 125. I know that's not gonna like matter, but yeah, it's just kind of weird. So now if I hit my key, you can see the motor's turning, and it was turning the wheels just a little bit, but now it's not turning the wheels anymore. So if we go back into build mode here, and I drop it down, let's look over here at, there we go. Let's look, everything is set, like there's nothing bound up, all the suspension is working, the gear, the motor set is set to turn, that gear is locked to the shaft. This thing is set to go sideways, so we have it, you know, at first I had it like locked and I didn't realize why it wasn't moving, and then I was like, oh, we need it to slide. So we have the slide function, so now I can slide freely. There's nothing in the way of it as well. So we have like this little gear thing, and this is supposed to be locked, that's connected, and all of this is a ball joint, can freely move. But, and then also these right here, these little ball joints can freely move. And I have it, you know, as far as suspension geometry set up, pretty good. We got long, lower control arms. We have a short upper control arm, little A arm, and we have the steering linkage in the back here, and it's offset in line with the upper ball joint up there. So that's kind of right where it needs to be, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. So the shocks are also set, they're set to swivel, so I don't really know. So if you guys have any suggestions on what to do with that, let me know. And you know, before I started talking, there's gonna be a huge time lapse of me putting all this together and going through all the variations of this and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy so far. I like the setup. I just need to like figure out how to make it steer a little better. These over here steer really nicely, and I yanked off the front end so I could see inside. It's the same setup. However, I do notice it doesn't have like the little arrows telling it which way to go. But maybe that's because it's not sitting on anything. See, it's right there. Gosh dang it. Let me get in there so we can see. So yeah, so it's not really like on anything, but it also like kind of clips into this piece, and it all seems to work for them. So I'm not really sure, you know. And this setup is even crazier. It's so crammed. It's quite ingenious actually. So here's the steering arm right here, comes out, and then it goes to a sideways gear. But you can see that the sideways gear also has it set to go back and forth, you know. So mine has the same symbols as this. You know, these are all locked, but I don't have them locked. And then it's using a big giant gear that comes up and then over and then all the way through to a steering wheel. But you don't have to have a steering wheel, so you know, I'm not really sure what the deal is. And also, I think the steering wheel right there, I think that's a motor. Yeah. Yeah, this is a servo. So really, the steering wheel is just for looks. It's still really running off the servo motor, which is the same one I have over on my side. It's just turning all of this crazy stuff here. So kind of strange. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a solution for me. And make sure you leave in the comments if you know what is going on. If it's bound up, you know, is it too close? Is there a setting I need to turn on that, you know, to allow freedom of movement of parts if they're touching or something? Because it's not connected anywhere. Is it? No, that's not connected. That's connected to the piece underneath it. So I don't know. You guys let me know. But right now, you know, I can, you know, do whatever so we can... And then if I go over here, we can see how the suspension, you know, works. So you see? So it has about, you know, has a little bit of camber to it. That's why I have a shorter upper control arm. Give it some natural camber. And then I think, yeah, there we go. So, but you see how it like stays flat and then it kind of cambers in as the car would, you know, pivot and like, what am I trying to say? Like, roll into a turn or something, you know, the body is gonna have some roll to it, and so it'll make the tires kind of have a natural camber to it, and it's doing what I want. But I need to get the shocks figured out, and I need to get the turning figured out, because I can like force it to turn, but it'll just break. You hear it? It's like trying to break. So kind of weird. And then back here, I have this little mess up back here. So we'll get this all fixed up later. But yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to get this front end figured out. It took a lot longer than I expected. So, you know, maybe you guys have some ideas on what I can do. If I get into the car and I try to steer, it's not, you know, it's not doing anything. It's trying, and the motor's trying to move, but just not doing it. So I don't know. The engine works, so we can start the engine up, and running pretty good, you know. Res really nicely and all that, but I don't know. We're getting close though, so we're gonna have to figure out, you know, exactly what the issue is with the steering linkage. And I'll probably do that, and then when I figure it out, on the next episode I will go over what the solution is, and hopefully you guys will have some ideas, and then we'll work on the back and start setting up a transmission and some seating. Not sure where I'm going to put the engine. I may have it mounted in the back. I may have it front engine, you know, mounted. I may have like a mid-engine car, but with the engine in the front. So I know that sounds weird. Most people think of mid-engine cars with the engines in the back, but we can still get like a 50-50 type of weight ratio with the engine still being in the front. We just have to figure out where to put the space, and this is a big, massive engine, so I don't know, but we'll have to figure this out. So yeah, and we'll have to stick some other components on here, like some belts and pulleys and stuff like that, to make sure I leave enough room for all of that. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the episode here. Just wanted to show you guys, you know, kind of like what I have going on. And so far, you know, we're getting close to having something we can drive around. It's good I have the engine, you know, working properly now, and it looks pretty decent. You know, I like the setup of it. You know, we just need to figure out maybe some better exhaust pipes. I hope they come out with some better like exhaust pipes and maybe a better intake manifold. It'd be nice to have a intake manifold where we can make our own plenum, and then have all these pipes run into a single plenum with like a single throttle body or maybe two throttle bodies, and just have everything run into like a custom square tube, or you know, maybe some varieties of different shapes we can extrude and shape to create a different type of intake plenum. That would be great. And then maybe some different exhaust pieces instead of, gee, these all look like water pipes to me. So would be nice if we could have these looking like actual exhaust bins and things like that. We can get real creative with our flow, but I know that's probably a ton of work, and you know, they do have like some flow, you know, dynamics going on here through these pipes. So that's pretty cool that this game has those type of effects going on with that. So anyway, all right, well, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Make sure you leave some comments and everything on some ideas on what I can do for some suspension setup. I eventually am going to take these shocks, and I want to have them as a cantilever setup where they're placed on top of each other, overlapping a little bit, and having the shocks up there. But I'm just trying to get them to work in their basic form right now, so I can kind of figure everything out and make sure I understand how all of this stuff works together. So anyway, yeah, all right, well, I appreciate it, and make sure you guys like and subscribe on the video, hit that little bell notification, and leave some comments and stuff and all that, and I'd be greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks a lot.